Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sitting in the basement bait shop doing a video in here because it is a rainy, dreary day in Wisconsin today. So I'm here to do a video for you. I gotta say, if I get interrupted, it's because we're potty training my little boy who just turned 3, and he is continuously running down here to tell me he's got to use the washroom. So I may have to scoot on you. But in the meantime, what I want to get into is, if you guys have any topics that you want me to talk about, put it in the comment section. You guys have such great ideas, and it gives me motivation to do a bunch of videos. You know, if I put it on my list, it's just, you know, I've got 200 to 250 ideas right now, so it doesn't mean I'm going to get to it right away. But it's a topic that I know is good enough to talk about. And if it's something you have questions on, it's probably something other viewers are interested in. So it's worth discussing. So if you have topic ideas, put it in the comment section. I greatly appreciate all of them. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is a topic that not one, but probably 6 or 7 of you have reached out to me about recently. And it has to do with fishing line, and more specifically, monofilament fishing line. You know, this is my favorite monofilament, Berkley Trilene XL. It's the only monofilament I've used probably in the last 30 years. And I got to tell you, I love this line. But the question has to do with, is there a place for monofilament in the fishing world today? And the answer to me is a very solid yes. But I got to say, I feel like it is being pushed to the side based on current trends, and the trend to go to braided line or the trend to use fluorocarbon. You very rarely hear people talking about using monofilament fishing line. But for me, I use it in almost every tournament I go into, and it's become, you know, a staple for me for several topics. The first of which is topwaters, guys. Topwaters are fantastic with braided. Okay, bathroom break. Success. Made it in the potty. Always a good thing. All right, so what I was getting at, I was saying braided line is probably one of the favorites that people like to throw with topwaters. I am not quite that way, guys. I like to throw my topwaters either on just monofilament, or if I'm throwing braid, I like to throw a leader of monofilament, a short leader, maybe 2 feet long, 18 inches to 2 feet long. And I do that because I'm pretty quick on the hook set when it comes to topwaters, and the monofilament allows it, it reduces my hook set speed. And I may still set the hook as fast, but there's more stretch, which is going to absorb that whole hook set process, and it allows the fish to inhale the bait better, in my opinion. And that's why I really like monofilament. It floats as well, so it keeps the bait up. It's just, I feel like it's a really good topwater line, and most people would agree with me that it is still very valuable when fishing a topwater. I like to use it as a leader if I'm throwing braid on a topwater, because it does not allow the braid to hook around the treble hooks as well. So, you know, you've got a little bit of that memory in the line. So, you know, that memory will keep the line away from the hooks, and it just seems to work better. I also still very firmly feel like monofilament and fluorocarbon are less visible to the fish. Now, whether that's actually through sight or sound or vibration, I don't have the exact answer, but I do feel like I get more bites when I'm not throwing braided line directly to my bait. And the only time I do that is if I absolutely have to, if I'm pitching, say, heavy cover or punch and milfoil mats or something like that. But when it comes to topwaters, absolutely monofilament is a very, very viable line to use. I also will use it when fishing crankbaits and when fishing lipless crankbaits. And the reason for that has to do with the stretch again, right? The monofilament line has so much stretch. Like if you picked it up, if you've never used it before and you put some on, you would feel like you were just, you know, yo-yoing back and forth because of the stretch. But that comes into play really well when you're fishing a crankbait or a lipless, not around weeds. I do not use it when I'm fishing around weeds, but if I'm fishing a clean bottom, I like to use it on a lipless. And that just has to do with the fish being able to inhale the bait, because when they suck the bait in or hit the bait, that line will give and stretch to allow the fish to get it. I'll be right there, Duke. Sorry guys, a false alarm potty break. So as I was saying, with a crankbait and a lipless, you are allowing those fish to inhale the bait because there is stretch in the monofilament line. You're not pulling it away. Now, you won't feel the bites nearly as well, but in those circumstances, you don't have to feel the bite. You'd almost rather just feel your rod load up and get heavy, which means you've got a fish on there. And because of that, the chances are those fish were able to get your bait better than they would have had you felt them really zap the bait and you set the hook immediately. So those are the scenarios where I still like to use monofilament. I will also add that there are other professional anglers that I know of that do still use it for flipping super heavy cover, like down in Florida, super heavy cover, and they prefer it because it does have a little bit of stretch and it creates a slower bite sensitivity. So when they go to set the hook, they're not, hitting it immediately, but more than anything, it's not allowing that bait to blow out of the fish's mouth. So if they've got that big heavy weight clamped in their mouth, if you use heavy braid and you really get like a snap hook set, you can blow that mouth open and the bait comes flying out. The idea is a slow, steady hook set, which will then pull the big weight through the mouth, and the mouth opens up just enough for the weight to come out, and the trailing hook will get the hook in them. And if you use monofilament, you can really hit them hard, and that because there's stretch, you're going to be able to pull the hook out, but you're not blowing the fish's mouth open. So I do know of other pros that use heavy monofilament. I'm talking like 30-pound test. That's not my personal choice, but there are other pros doing it. So I know there's other applications. Again, guys, I'm just going to rely back on what I like to say a lot of times. Use what you have confidence in, but don't feel like just because somebody down the block told you you have to use fluorocarbon or you have to use braid doesn't mean there's not applications for monofilament that work best for you. Really, you got to take into account so many other things: the gear ratio of your reel, the speed and actions of your rods. You can really change things up by using different lines. So don't feel like because everyone else is not using monofilament, you shouldn't be using monofilament. I can assure you there are instances and patterns and techniques that you probably would prefer to throw monofilament over your other fishing lines. So guys, leave in the comment section if you've got other techniques that you still like to use monofilament for. Throw it up in the comment section so that other viewers can watch and be like, you know what, I want to try it for that. Because guys, it is significantly cheaper than other lines as well. So it might be worth just trying and exploring for yourself and giving it a try. But in my book, I carry a lot of this still with me to all the tournaments I go to because I am still using it. There is a place for monofilament fishing line in today's fishing market. So guys, I hope this was helpful. If it was, hit that like button, share it on social media, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Stay tuned.